Alright, what's going on guys? My name is Omega and welcome back to another video. So today I actually just wanted to go over with you guys the Reddit AMA that happened on Friday. A lot of the Apex Legends developers were answering questions regarding Season 10 and gave us a lot of information about some changes that we should be expecting very soon. So I'm going to go over everything that was relevant in this AMA, so hopefully you guys do find this interesting. First off, we have a question here from I Am Ravenous talking about the Sentinel and Rampage bug in arenas, saying that there are times where you can't actually charge your Sentinel or your Rampage. It just doesn't work for some reason. You have to actually drop the weapon and pick it back up in order to be able to charge it. One of the developers did respond to this comment saying that it's definitely on his radar. It also doesn't reproduce in development like it does on a live game, which has made it a little bit harder to actually track down, but he's hoping that it's going to get fixed as soon as possible. Now the next question here is from Based Charger saying any ETA on the next gen update for Apex, specifically for console players, and this got a response from Ryan Rigney who said, "Oh man, I wish I had an update to share, but we can't say anything definitive at the moment, so can't spoil anything here. Trust us though, it's in the works and we're excited about it too." So we've been talking about that for a while. I was actually expecting that to kind of be revealed to us during EA Play Live. Unfortunately, they didn't really talk about it too much, but it does look like they are still working on it in the background. And this leads us obviously into the next question, which gets asked in every single AMA that I've ever seen for Apex, and that is regarding cross progression. So Ryan Rigney said that cross progression is expected to come out next year. He said cross progression is gnarly as hell in terms of being a problem to solve. It's not only that you have to solve the technical challenge of merging existing accounts, but there are also legal and contractual issues to navigate with purchasing on other platforms. Different regions have different laws. It's a mess, but we're working on it and we're committed to delivering it. So it looks like when I get my PC back and it's finally fixed, I'm gonna have to wait another probably 6 or 7 months just to be able to get all of my heirlooms on my PC account, so that is pretty unfortunate. Now this next question is regarding crypto in arenas. This guy asked, would it be possible to reverse the change on crypto's drone in arenas? Recalling it and deploying it again is crucial to play him effectively. Why should recalling it before it gets destroyed eat up an ability charge? Isn't it the same as Caustic picking up his barrels? In which RoboBob did respond to this saying, definitely a bug if it's still happening. I thought this was fixed. I'll double check what's happening, but yes, recalling should not use up a tactical charge. Now we have another question regarding crypto. This guy named Electrical Traffic said, will crypto receive a buff anytime soon? Respawn Jello, who's one of the game designers at Respawn, said that crypto is being looked at and should be getting some improvements in the future, just not sure when they're coming. Then he also added maybe a way to use the drone on the fly. Now to me, this sounds like that they're actually going to make it so that crypto doesn't have to be in his drone in order to use it. So maybe the drone will actually be able to follow him from behind just to give him kind of like a better perspective of what's in the area around him. Or maybe crypto will be able to tell his drone to go to a certain location so he doesn't have to actually open up his tablet, control the drone, fly it to that location, and then close it just to be able to get out. I don't see them taking away that ability to actually control the drone yourself, but having that extra option of being able to tell the drone where you want to go, especially when you don't want to actually take yourself out of the fight, is probably going to be really good for crypto players. Now this next question is, I'm sure, one of the big reasons why you guys clicked on this video, and that is regarding balance changes to Seer. So this guy said, how do you all feel about how Seer has launched, and should we be expecting any balancing on him soon? Respawn Travis, who's one of the gameplay engineers, said that Seer has launched strong, which was the hope. He's also brought a lot of new gameplay elements to the game, including HP bars as well as interrupting abilities, which has driven a lot of discussion with players, which is great to see. With that being said, he's probably a bit too strong at the moment and will be receiving some balance updates in an upcoming patch. Now, Respawn Travis also said that this patch, or this change coming to Seer, is going to be before the mid-season update, so we're not going to have to wait as long as you probably think. I'm imagining that in the next probably 2 weeks, something will be coming out to Seer, and then he might get even more changes during the mid-season patch. Now, I'm sure Bangalore mains out there will be very happy to hear about this next piece of news. This coming from Pleasant Drive, who said, hey team, thanks for checking in. Bangalore has been hit hard now with the introduction of Seer. The utility of her smoke screen is cancelled out by multiple legend abilities as well as the Digi threat site. Are there any plans to buff our girl Bangalore back into the meta, or do devs think she's in a good place this season? Respawn Quaz, who's one of the senior level designers, actually responded to this comment saying, yo, I'm a Bangalore main and I feel for you. I've expressed the same feelings towards the legend balancing team, and hopefully we can see our girl get the buff she needs. So it's interesting that a level designer is actually commenting on this rather than one of the legend designers, but it looks like that he's been kind of relaying this information information to the team. So hopefully they do agree with him, because I do agree with this comment. I mean, Bangalore Smoke has kind of been canceled out by so many different things, and it's really not as viable as it once was, especially in the early times of this game. Now, this was actually a question directed toward one of the lead writers at Respawn, saying thoughts on an endgame encyclopedia to keep track of the story. I follow things fairly closely, and I just saw yesterday something about Gibraltar being married that I had no idea about. Amanda responded to this saying, this is definitely something we want as well. It's hard to track all our bits of lore, especially with a live service game that keeps going. All I can say is something is in the works. And if you guys have watched my videos, I've definitely talked about this before, how the lore is just so insanely spread out right now. Like, you had the in-game comics in the last couple of seasons where everyone could watch it. We also had lore pieces on the Twitter, lore pieces on Instagram, and it was so spread out that it was just so complicated to actually follow. Not only that, but they're also, you know, making these actual comic books that you can buy that has even more pieces of the story. It's almost impossible to really follow what's going on now compared to what it was in the very beginning of this game. So as someone who's a fan of the lore, I'm definitely hoping that they find a better way to actually organize this and make it so that everyone can just see what's going on in the game rather than going to all of these different platforms. Now, another guy on Reddit basically asked the developers how they could let Seer go through the testing process and be this overpowered on release. Basically wanting to know what their thought process was and how they actually test these legends. I thought this would be interesting for you guys to know. Respawn Travis did respond to this saying, tough question, but I'll try to answer sincerely and in good faith since you aren't being rude. We have a strong culture of playtesting at Respawn and have multiple playtests per week where everyone on the team is welcome to join in, play the upcoming content, and provide their feedback. We will also occasionally host playtests with pros and content creators to get their feedback on an upcoming content. Despite all of that playtesting, nothing can match having content be released into the wild and played by the players to see how a piece of content actually ends up performing. Seer specifically went through multiple gameplay kits and iterations before shipping, which was shaped directly by both internal and external feedback. With that being said, as I mentioned in another comment, we will be adjusting some of his power in an upcoming patch. Now, for those of you guys who are on Xbox and are currently experiencing like a bunch of lag spikes and other like random things happening within your game, the Respawn developers do know about this. This coming from a comment made by this guy named Yi, who said, do y'all know about the lag spikes on Xbox? It makes it hard to play sometimes. Ragnarny did say, yep, looking into it. And this is actually also on the Respawn Trello board. If you guys haven't checked that out yet, it's kind of like a public board where Respawn will update what bugs and what things that are broken in the game that they're either currently working on or haven't actually started working on. So it's a good thing to follow if you do want to keep up with all of the bug updates in Apex Legends. I'll leave a link to their Trello board down in the description in case you guys just want to like pin it to your taskbar and, you know, check it maybe like once a week. They don't update it, I don't think, that frequently. Now we have another comment here saying, my question is if anything will be done about Seer and the Prowler specifically. Respawn Jello, who has already responded about Seer, did respond specifically about the Prowler, saying, I can talk about the Prowler, we are watching it and will be looking into a potential nerf coming soon, which is something that I'm not really too surprised at. I mean, these changes that the Prowler had coming from the care package to ground loot weren't really that big. If you guys watched my last video where I kind of like showed all of the weapon changes from season 9 to season 10, the Prowler seemed still be just as strong. The only thing that really changed was the duration in between the bursts of the gun. So I think it's probably going to get either like a damage nerf, maybe some increased recoil, and maybe even some longer duration in between these bursts just to put the Prowler back on a reasonable level, because I know it's a super strong weapon right now. Now obviously we can't talk about one of these AMAs without a question about Wattson. This guy said, are you planning to buff Wattson in the future? Which Respawn Jello did respond saying, we're looking into some improvements to Wattson, but not sure when those changes will be coming. Now this next comment coming from So Sneaky saying, do you have any plans for changing Fragment East and Fragment West? It's on my biggest complaints about World's Edge right now. And I have to agree with this guy, because despite the fact that we got all of these brand new map changes for World's Edge, it seems like everyone still lands either Fragment East or Fragment West. Granted, it's a great spot to land. You're gonna have a ton of people fighting there, but it also sucks if you want to land somewhere different, because usually you don't find enemies for a very long time. It's very rare where people actually spread around the map rather than everyone just going to Fragment East or Fragment West. But we do have an answer here from Respawn Quaz, who said, as of right now, we have no plans on changing up Fragment East or West, but I won't rule out anything for the future. We're aware of some of the community's feedback about the POI and are paying attention. Now, the last question that we have here is about the level cap increase in Apex Legends. Now, this was actually answered by Tex104, who's apparently the team director over at the Vancouver office for Respawn Entertainment. He said the level cap is one of those features that has existed for a long time, and we've been looking to update it for a long time too, but we plan to do this in a few phases. First, we are planning to straight up increase the cap with maybe a couple small changes in the mix, but we also want to future-proof it with some of the other cross-progression mechanics we are developing that are not yet ready. With that being said, we may hold out a little longer to ensure that these core systems are as consistent and stable and future-proof. All of that is to say you can expect a more significant update to the whole system in the future, with a possible level cap between that larger update when our other progression system features are ready for prime time. So I'm guessing they're talking about cross-progression, maybe like towards the beginning of next year. I guess maybe we might have like a level cap increase. So that is definitely some good news as well. I know many of us are stuck at level 500 and you're kind of not really doing anything besides just grinding ranked. Anyways, let me know what your guys' thoughts are about this AMA. Feel free to leave any feedback down in the comments below. But as always, thank you guys for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, make sure to drop a like and subscribe to the channel. But I will see you guys all in the next video. Have a great day. Peace.